Hi you guys. So in this video I just want to give a little introduction into the quadratic formula, and we're going to kind of focus in on one specific piece of it called the discriminant. Okay. On Monday we'll work on actually solving quadratic equations with it. If you look at these first four warm-up problems, we're not going to do them right now, but the first one we could solve with square roots, because there is no x term. Same with the second one, those x terms are going to cancel out. 3 and 4 we could solve by factoring, right? But sometimes, and number 5 is an example, neither of those methods will work, and so the quadratic formula is a third way we can do this. All right, so first let's actually write down the formula. So at the bottom of page 101, all right, you'll notice that the equation is in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. And what we're going to do, the formula is this. X equals, and then it's a big fraction. On top is negative b plus or minus the square root, and it's a big square root, b squared minus 4ac. And on the bottom is 2a. So that is the quadratic formula. Okay. And so the way you use it, we'll do this on Monday. A, B, and C are the three constants or coefficients in the quadratic formula. And you plug them into this formula to solve for x. Okay. Now, the specific part of the quadratic formula in the square root, b squared minus 4ac, that has a special name. It's the discriminant. The discriminant. Okay? And the discriminant can help us figure out how many solutions we're going to find. Okay? So basically, in the margin here below, we're gonna write down a couple of facts about the discriminant. Okay? So when we use the numbers and plug into b squared minus 4ac, three things can happen. Okay? It could be positive. Okay? And when it's positive, that means b squared minus 4ac is bigger than 0. It's positive. That means there's going to be two real solutions. So we'll get x equals a number and x equals another number. Two real solutions. Right? When it's 0, so we might do b squared minus 4ac, and the answer turns out to be 0. When that happens, that means there's going to be only one real solution. Okay. And another thing that could happen is it could be negative. So that would mean that b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. If that happens, well look, it'd be a square root of a negative number. That means there's no solutions, so 0 real solutions. So those are the three things that can happen with the discriminant, and so we can use that to find out how many solutions we're going to have. Okay. Another little kind of helpful fact about that is if you do b squared minus 4ac, oh, what is that? That's the highlighter. If you do b squared minus 4ac and you get a perfect square, so like 16 or 25 or 1, okay, that means that your quadratic equation there would actually factor. Then the equation should factor. Okay. We're going to see this on the next page. Okay, let's flip to page 102 and do a couple examples. Okay, so on page 102, let's take a look at a few of these. And all we're going to do right now, and I want you to kind of write smaller and off to the left, because tomorrow we'll do these same problems and we'll actually solve them. Or Monday, I guess. So what we're going to do with these problems is first figure out what a, b, and c are. So in this problem, a is the coefficient of x squared. Remember, every problem is going to be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So in this case, a is 1, because it's like 1x squared. B is negative 6, and c is 8. Okay? So off on the left here, what we're going to do is calculate what does the discriminant equal. So I'm going to do b squared minus 4ac. All right? And then I'm going to plug in. So as I do that, when we do b squared, you should do it in your head, like negative 6 squared. Okay? Negative 6 squared is 36. The b squared will always give you a positive number, so you should always be writing a positive number here. So b squared minus 4ac, so minus 4 times 1 times 8. Okay? I like to use parentheses. That way it reminds you that it's multiplication and it helps with the negatives. So in this case, it's going to be equals 36 minus 4 times 1 times 8 is 32. And the answer there is 4. 36 minus 32 is 4. Right? Based on our rule from the last page, b squared minus 4ac is positive. So that's greater than 0, right? If 4 is greater than 0, that means we're going to have 2 real solutions. Right? And because 4 is a perfect square, this one's going to factor. Okay, this one's going to factor. Okay, so let's do another one. Again, all we're doing right now is trying to figure out how many solutions, and that's what a couple of the problems in your homework tonight are going to ask you to do. How many solutions? So in number 2 here, again, first thing we need to do is find a, b, and c. So a is 1, because that's in front of x squared, b is 9, and c is negative 10. Okay, and then again, write small right now because we're going to use space again next day. Calculate the discriminant. B squared minus 4ac equals 9 squared is 81 minus 4 times 1 times negative 10. This is 81. Negative is going to make it plus, and 4 times 10 is 40. That's 121. Okay, so same thing here. This is positive, so that's going to be 2 real solutions. And if 121 is a perfect square, which it is, this one factors. So what we're seeing here is actually b squared minus 4ac is a great way to test if your equation's going to factor or not. Okay, because of that, we could solve this by factoring. All right, and lastly, let's look at number 8. So I'm going to slide down here, and we're going to go down to number 8. Number 8. So this time, a is 4, b is negative 1, and c is positive 1. Okay. Use the discriminant to find how many solutions. So here we go. B squared minus 4ac. B squared is 1, because negative 1 squared is positive 1, minus 4 times 4 times 1, 4ac. Well, that is 1 minus 16, which is negative 15. That's negative. When the discriminant is negative, we're going to have no real solutions. Okay, which, there's your symbol for that. Okay, so now you know how to check for how many solutions a quadratic equation will have based on the discriminant. One other reminder before you go into your homework is just that we solved equations by graphing earlier this chapter, or actually we did it last chapter, and so when you have your quadratic, if it hits when you draw the parabola, if it crosses the x-axis twice, that's 2 solutions. If it perfectly bounces off the x-axis and only hits it in one spot, that's only one solution. And then if it's no x-intercepts, like it's above the x-axis all the time, that would be no solution. Okay. Thanks for watching.